Alright, gang. I do apologize for the format of this video. I am wearing my work uniform, and nobody needs to know where I work, so we'll just go on like this. Anyway, I saw a video recently that was done by the YouTuber group AllTime10s. And they did a video, top 10 lies you've been told about Islam. And apparently it went viral, millions of views. And unfortunately, they do a pretty darn good job of misinforming a lot of people about what is actually going on. Case in point, during the video, the narrator says something along the lines of, according to Pew Research, there are 1.6 million Muslims in the 1.6 billion Muslims in the world, and only 0.006625% identify with extremism. Now, this is factually inaccurate. First off, the nearest that anybody I've spoken to can tell, the 0.006625% number comes from a blog. The blog is Words About Things, if I recall correctly. And the guy specifies that percentage number. Now, where does he get that number from? Well, it comes from a CNN report. You see, 0.006625% of 1.6 billion is about 106,000. And that is the high number a CNN article reported for the total number of Islamic extremist militants, mind you, who are formally part of a terrorist group. And they don't say this, but that is not state-sponsored, because this number does not include Hamas or Hezbollah. So, but they say that 106,000 militants are actively working formally for terrorist groups. This is not, however, how many Muslims identify with extremism. They actually link to a Pew Research article. And in that article, it says that 20% of Nigeria's 40% Muslim population, i.e., of Nigeria's population, 40% of them are Muslim, and 20% of those Muslims say that they have a positive feeling towards ISIS. Now, I won't go through all of the math, but suffice to say that when you work out the math, 14 million people in Nigeria have a favorable opinion of ISIS. Now, that's a little bit higher than 106,000 people having identify with extremism. It's a little bit higher, you might say. Couple that with the fact that another Pew Research study says that there are 99% of the population in Afghanistan that they are in favor of Sharia law being the law of the land. It's likely 99.9, but the survey only goes down to percentage. It doesn't go into decimals. But suffice to say, 99% of Afghanis want Sharia to be the law of the land. Now, this is a disaster in and of itself. Sharia is horrible, but that's not necessarily what someone would identify as being someone who identifies with extremism. Instead, we will look to another portion of the survey, of which the former is relevant. Of that 99% of Afghan population who of Muslims, of that 99% of Afghani Muslims who believe in Sharia law being the law of the land, 80% of them, 80% say that there should be a death penalty for leaving Islam. That apostasy is an offense punishable by death. You should cut off your head, or you should have your head cut off if you convert to Christianity, or you convert to Judaism, or you convert to Wicca. Who cares? That this is what Pew Research has brought forth. Now, I don't know the actual numbers of Muslims in Afghanistan. I'm willing to bet that it's a significant proportion of the population. The population is about 30.5 million people. If we consider that 50% of that is Muslim, which is likely a low percentage, if we consider 50% of Afghanistan being Muslim, that gives us 15 million people. 80% of that works out to, I don't know, 12 million, something like that. So 12 million people in Afghanistan, and that's if the low guess numbers are actually accurate. 12 million people in Afghanistan think that it's the right thing to do to kill you if you leave Islam. That sounds a little bit more than 0.00625%. 106,000 people, if that number were accurate. But it's not. I won't go into the rest of the claims that the video makes. I don't have the patience for it, honestly. Suffice to say that they are wrong on most of their claims. Things like Islam is bad for women. The Quran allows a man to beat his wife simply for fearing that she will become disobedient. Islam commands all of its followers to kill Jews and Christians wherever they are found, which would fly in the face of saying that at least the Quran is a non-violent book. And therein lies a bit of the problem. We're not talking Muslims per se, especially westernized Muslims, that they are likely much more peaceful than their Middle Eastern brethren. However, it's not what Muslims believe, it's what the Quran teaches. And that's really what's important here. It's what the Quran teaches. And it teaches that you should be killed for apostasy. You should be killed simply for not believing in Islam. Now, they give you an option. You can convert or pay the jizya or be killed. Those are your options. The jizya is a religious tax. It's very suppressive. And the laws around it require you to not evangelize and the like. So basically, you can still live, still claim to be your religion, but you have to pay us money and you can't actively act out your religion. You can be a Muslim, or we can kill you. I don't know about you, but a lot of people will take the simple routes out of that. But anyway, that's all the time I really have, so I'll be signing off now.